Hello, my legion of humble followers, squidlets and baby yams. Today we're going to go through a list of 7 illegal motorcycle modifications. You're probably familiar with several motorcycle modifications at this point, things like frame sliders, bar end mirrors, and stickier tires. However, did you know that some of these modifications are in fact illegal in most states? Before we get started, here's my disclaimer. I'm not telling you to do any of these nor break the law. Papa Yam believes that you should go out into the world and make your own mistakes as long as you're not hurting anybody. But here's something I am going to tell you to do. You've only got 2 more weeks to get entered for our Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650 giveaway. If you want to support the series on Patreon, we're only doing 2 more episodes until we reveal our next round of bikes, and you're going to want to make sure you sign up for that. Trust me. If you sign up now, I'll give you double entries for those next 2 episodes, and you'll be able to help vote and choose our next bikes as well. As always, remember you can enter in completely for free and do not have to pay to win. You can also pick up merch as a one-time purchase to get entered to win as well. If you use the code DOUBLE2019 at checkout, you'll get 10% off and double entries for your purchase until October 17th. You're not going to want to miss out. Seriously. So click those links and check it out. Now, enough with the long intros. Let's get started. The first illegal modification is tucked or hidden license plates. Number 1 on our list is probably the first mod any owner does on a sport bike, and it's also commonly found on others as well. It's a tucked or hidden license plate and also rear fender eliminators. The factory rear fender is this hideous monstrosity of a design complete with reflectors and bulk. Nothing about this thing is subtle. It's probably catering to every law ever made in every country about rear license plates, lighting, and visibility. The rear fender eliminating is mod so common, used bikes at any dealership are probably going to have them. To reduce the bulk, rear fender eliminators are installed. They're basically a brand new license plate mounting system bracket. Some, if not all of them, will remove the rear reflectors and relocate the license plate forward on the tail. This mod becomes illegal when the tail becomes hard to read, which is common in these kits. They sell them as a means to hide your license plate. What's worse is there are hideaway kits that'll flip your plate up at the push of a button, and others that will move your tag flush with the tail and be unreadable from behind. If you want to do one of these, go ahead, but stay legal, check your local laws. At minimum, your license plate must remain visible, your tag light and turn signals need to remain on the kit, and you need to keep your reflectors if required by law. One thing to point out, however, is that the rear fender does serve a critical point in reducing road grime, mud, sand, and other gunk flying onto your bike. Even though it is ugly, it does serve a purpose. Moving on. The second illegal mod is mirror deletes. For all of you lane splitting squids out there, you know that removing your mirrors is illegal. Next on our list is the mirror deletion mod. There are kits that'll turn your mirror holes into turn signals, spikes, or you can just use plain old bolts when you do it. No matter how you do it, some states still consider this an illegal mod and require you to run mirrors on your bike. It can be overlooked by law enforcement, so you might not be immediately pulled over if you choose to remove them. Some states require 1 mirror, while other requires 2. This mod's kind of a gray area for riders, and I really suggest you do some individual research before you decide to pull them off your bike. Some states even allow a mirrorless bike, while others won't allow you to switch to handlebar and mirrors. Personally, I think mirrors should just stay on a motorcycle because it allows to ride safely. If you're squidding with a backpack on, it's easier to turn around and look than if you're riding in full gear. With gear on, you really need your mirrors in case your head movement is limited. A lot of motorcycles have mirrors that can be tucked in, which can be somewhat of a hassle for lane splitters, but it is an alternative to simply removing the mirrors. Think about how much you use them and under what conditions before you decide to say adios to your mirrors. And as a note, even though bar end mirrors are legal, I kind of think they suck. For me, stock mirrors have always worked better than bar ends in those aforementioned lane splitting situations, of which I am not admitting to doing here in Texas. Those are purely allegations leveled at me. Bar ends just kind of get in the way. Not ideal in my humble yam opinion. The third illegal mod is the full exhaust and the no catalytic converter. Number 3 is a full exhaust system on your bike or removing that big, heavy, bulky catalytic converter. The first performance mod most bike owners do is something exhaust related. For most, it's a slip-on, which will change the sound and look of the bike. It's perfectly legal in most states, and the sound is only slightly altered. For others, it's about going all out. Full systems from header to tip, gaining power and getting as loud as possible. This is illegal because the cat needs to stay on your bike, but is removed when installing a full system. There must be a way to sound so badass you cry out. Legally speaking, there's not. A lot of riders pull their cats off of the bike, so it's a very common mod, even though it is illegal and frowned upon by the atmosphere. The thing about exhaust systems is sometimes the cat is tucked under fairings or is part of the exhaust pipe, unlike cars. So law enforcement don't immediately notice it, or they simply don't care about the straight pipe Harley because they own one as well. For how many states an exhaust system is actually illegal in, it's kind of surprising to see how many riders out there are with catless systems and stray pipes. How they get away with inspection comes from either going to a bike shop that doesn't really care or going to a garage that doesn't have the experience with the motorcycle to really understand what they're looking for. Another alternative that's basically fraud is taking your stock system, putting it on, getting your bike inspected, coming back home and taking it off again. And that's all to say that that's unless you live in California. I hear the exhaust regulations there are very strict. And rightfully so. I don't really want to hear your R1 at 2 a.m. ripping by the main street trying to sound like MotoGP while I'm trying to sleep, and I'd like it if my future children had an atmosphere they can still breathe. Besides emission laws, the sound of an exhaust system is another point that makes this an illegal mod. Some states do not allow any aftermarket exhaust systems or have police that actively enforce noise ordinances. We all want to be that guy on a ZX-10R with a full exhaust system from two brothers pegged at the limiter and doing a wheelie at the local Walmart, but realistically, let's be a little more mature, shall we? This point coincides nicely with our recent video we did where we demonstrated using stats, data, and science that loud pipes do not, in fact, save lives. If you haven't seen that spicy video yet, go take a look at it, my sweet little yam pie. Number 4, LEDs, strobes, neons, and different colors. Number 4 on our list of illegal mods are aftermarket lights. This category covers pretty much everything from colored headlights, LEDs, strobes, neons, and running with red or blue lights, depending on your state. If you're squidding on your R1 at 140 miles per hour in the pitch black while strobing purple lights, well, at least you're visible, and I give you props for that. Everyone else, check your local laws. Most states don't allow different color headlights. Your super xenon ultra bright 12,000K blue light bulbs may actually not be legal. White or yellowish is normally the accepted colors. When it comes to LEDs, neons, and accents, check your local laws. Some states, such as North Carolina, allow any color except red and blue, while others completely ban anything not installed at the factory. To be honest, whether you love them or hate them, adding extra lights to a bike aren't a distraction. It gets you noticed at night when people really are distracted by the bright screens of their phones, GPS, and even car infotainment centers. Even though I would never rock them on any motorcycle I own, I think they can help you be seen. It's like high visibility gear, but taken to an extreme. Number 5, removing reflectors. Number 5 on our list is reflector removal. Yes, those red and orange colored discs on the side of your bike are not there just for show. They're there to keep you alive by shining light back in the person's face who's shining it at you. I'm kidding. So in all legality here, reflectors, since they're installed at the factory, are on your front forks and are included in your rear fender. They need to stay. But why, Papa Yams? But nothing, Squidless. They will stay there until their first owner trashes them. In total honesty, removing reflectors may be illegal technically, but it's probably the least noticed mod that anyone would notice. Hanging out with some fellow riders this weekend, they'll notice if you remove the reflectors or ask if you have plans to put them on your new bike. I don't know if anyone catching a ticket from a cop for simply not having reflectors. It seems if you're gonna get cited, it'll be after you do the wheelie at 120 miles per hour, not wearing your helmet, and not having reflectors as well. The charge is probably gonna be secondary to the more important things at hand. Law enforcement, vehicle inspectors, and other normies seriously won't be able to tell if you've pulled them off or not. A lot of them might just think it's something you put on bicycles, let alone motorcycles. Number 6, flush turn signals. Number 6 on our list is flush turn signals. This one's a gray area mod which some cops might notice while others might not. Flush turn signals are very pleasing to the eye, especially on your early 2000s bike or even your current Yamaha R6s and R1s. For the Gixxer, since 2006, mirror-integrated turn signals were standard, so removing mirrors would either lead to remove turn signals or flush turn signals, causing the old twofer conundrum. Some bikes do come from the factory with flush turn signals, but they're located on the bike in such a way that they can be viewed from multiple angles, head-on and from the side or anything in between. When you remove the protruding turn signals and opt for the flush mount mod, the turn signal normally becomes highly visible from the side, but not so much from the front. Traffic won't know which lane you're turning into, and cars probably won't see you signaling to pass. Your bike will just be like every car on the freeway, not using any turn signals. Since some of the flush turn signals look stot, police might not take notice. It's going to take a bike enthusiast to notice mods performed on a bike. If you pull mirrors and turn signals in one piece, you're probably going to attract more attention from law enforcement than simply doing the lights alone. And number 7, helmet decorations. Last but not least, in the number 7 spot on our list, we have adding helmet decorations. Although not technically a mod to your motorcycle, the helmet is used for riding, so we're going to include it. Some of us are outspoken and loud on our motorcycles. We want to be seen, safety first, and heard. So we decorate our helmets with stickers, mohawks, spikes, etc. What is legal and what isn't? The DOT states that anything that protrudes past 0.2 of an inch is unsafe and illegal. Basically, if it isn't a sticker, it's not allowed. This includes GoPros, cameras, mounts, Bluetooth, mohawks, pigtail, spikes, etc. Does that mean that the Predator helmet is illegal? Apparently so, even though some manufacturers claim DOT approval. Is this going to stop anyone from decorating their helmets? Probably not. So there you have it, 7 mods that are illegal for riders to do. I hope you liked the video. Comment on what you liked and didn't like. Ask questions in the comments and you'll probably get flamed by some other baby yam. That's usually how it goes around here. And don't forget to check out our motorcycle giveaway. Seriously, sign up before our new season begins on October 17th and you'll get double entries for those episodes we produce beforehand. We've got the brand spanking new Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650. You're not going to want to miss out on those. Remember, sign up through Patreon and get double chances or get merch and use the code DOUBLE2019 to get 10% off and double entries to win. Thanks again for watching. Tune in next time, and I'll see you later. Fact. When it comes to understanding what exactly a sandwich is, there's lots of debates. Does anything wrapped around bread count? What's the distinction here? But one day, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council made an official ruling when it came to hot dogs. They deemed that hot dogs are not sandwiches. Limiting a hot dog's significance by saying it's just a sandwich is like calling the Dalai Lama just a guy, said Janet Riley, the president of the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council. Goodbye.